Hey ladies and gentlemen, Richard Kenobi here, and I'm back again for a new segment on my channel. It's one you guys have been asking and even requesting, so I might as well have thought, you know what, let's go ahead and get to it. My first ever Versus series. Now, this will not be related to my look at, nor will it be related to my death battle thoughts. This is going to be my own Versus series, and of course, if y'all have any requests who you want to see me put up against, then just let me know down in the comments below, and I even have a few requested. Pretty much, I'll take some that I think would be good, and then I'll take your request. So, yeah, and these will be coming out maybe once a week or twice a week, depending on the character and how much it takes to get to know them. So, yeah, with all that said, let's go ahead and get to the very first episode of today's two combatants, and it's one that I think everybody's wanted to see recently, Spider-Gwen versus Batgirl. Now then, please note, I will be using New 52 Batgirl, not Pre-52 Batgirl. So, apologies to DC fans if y'all are not happy that I'm using this incarnation of Batgirl, but don't worry, that won't happen with all of my videos. But anyway, now for those of you who also want to know, who haven't been keeping up with Marvel's new lineup, let me go ahead and tell y'all a little bit about Spider-Gwen, because I'm a fan of Spider-Gwen. I have her sticker, and just yesterday, or 2 days ago, I brought her comic. I love this comic, and I love Spider-Gwen. Now, Spider-Gwen was introduced last year in Spider-Verse number 42, and she is actually from another universe, of course, Universe 65, I think that's what it's called, where she was bitten by the radioactive spider and not Peter, and she pretty much had the same powers as Peter, but she had a different outfit. And Peter Parker in her universe was killed because he wanted to be just like her. So he created a serum that he theorized could not only stop people from bullying him, because he was bullied, and him and Gwen never had a romantic relationship. They were just close friends, but they almost did, so it's sad. And would give him the same powers as Spider-Gwen, but or Spider-Woman, as she's called in their universe. But fortunately, it turned him into the Lizard, and he went on a rampage, and then went crazy at the school prom. And Spider-Gwen, of course, did stop him. But then, when she found out it was Peter, he died in her arms, and he said, his last words were, "I wanted to be special, just like you." And of course, after that, she went up to help other Spider-Man. She even met the main Peter Parker, you know, and they were pretty much became close. Not that close. And then she came back, and she was still being wanted, because I also forgot to mention, everybody thinks she was responsible for Peter Parker's death. So, yes. And now, let's get on to Batgirl. Of course, you know, this is the same new Batgirl. She's a college grad. She is just got out of college, and she's a little bit younger. I would say she's around Gwen Stacy's age. So, yeah, that seems about right. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's the same story for Batgirl. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into their powers, their abilities and skills and weaknesses, and see who would win. Now then, Spider-Gwen most likely possesses all of the same powers as Spider-Man. She, of course, can lift up to 10 tons, she has super speed and durability, and she even created 2 augmented web shooters just like 616 Peter, and it allows her to tie up the bad guys and zip around in New York. She is a really strong combatant. Now, unfortunately, because Spider-Gwen has only had 6 issues, counting her new number 1, her skills haven't been all that in-depth yet, but I can make a assumption that she knows the same martial art that Peter Parker and some of the other Spider-Man know. That is the way of the spider, which utilizes the spider sense to its fullest. Now, it's never been actually stated that Gwen has a spider sense, but we can make that assumption because she is able to get out of danger pretty quickly. So yes, now, also, this Spider-Gwen, of course, is unlike her 616 counterpart. She has Peter's attitude. She has his cocky and jokey humor sometimes, and she is, of course, in a band called the Mary Janes, which, yes, the lead singer is who you think it is. She has, of course, accomplished many feats. She stopped many criminals. She has gone up against the Vulture, the Punisher. She's gone up against Daredevil. And she's gone up against the Lizard. Multiple Lizards, actually. And she's proven time and time again that she can defend herself. Now, from her universe, the Punisher is a cop, and Daredevil is actually a criminal who is the Kingpin's lawyer, but he's still the same Matt Murdock we all know. And she is, of course, running with the Vulture. So she has proven time and time again she can most likely, and every time, defend herself and defend people around her, just like Spider-Man. So honestly, at the end of the day, Spider-Gwen is a real force you don't want to reckon with. You just don't. Now then, let's get on to Batgirl. Now, this version of Batgirl is, like I said, she's a lot younger. She's like a college student, like her animated series counterpart. She, of course, has been trained in martial arts since she was 6. She obtained black belt status in both judo and karate, and she has been regarded as the most intelligent member of the Bat family. She, of course, has been able to crack and hack various things that no other person could crack, and this is her as Batgirl, not Oracle. And she pretty much has a photographic memory. Now, as for her feats so far, she has gone up against a couple of criminals. She stopped a couple of muggers, and she's gone up against Batman's Rogues Gallery. And overall, she is a fierce opponent, and, you know, again, like Spider-Gwen, if you happen to run into her, then you might as well just run away, because there is no point taking on this Bat member. Now, let's get into their weaknesses. Now, this is really going to be hypothetical here, because, as I said, Spider-Gwen has only been around since this and last year, so her weaknesses have never been explained, but like other Spider-Man and Spider-Women, I can make the assumption. Now, she is, of course, immune to pretty much getting shot, so if you shoot her, it's not going to do anything. She is, of course, able to... Really, she's able to adapt to the situation, but like I said, there have been many times where she has been overwhelmed, mainly when she was caught off guard by both the Vulture and the Punisher, and she has no specific physical weaknesses. However, I imagine that if someone faster than her can outmatch her Spidey sense, but again, this is just an assumption. Now, as for the ethyl chloride pesticide, I don't think so. I think that's only to Peter Parker. So yeah, now, again, Spider-Gwen's weaknesses really aren't that defined because, as I said, she's just now introduced, and she's only had around 6 issues, and she's still growing. As far as popularity goes, that's another category I'm going to get into. She has really gained a lot of popularity. You see every girl cosplay as her, and she's pretty much now Marvel's newest rising hero. A lot of people really like the character, and so do I. I love the character. Now let's get on to Batgirl. Now, Barbara more likely has the same weaknesses as any other member of the Bat family, meaning knives and bullets will pretty much take her down like anything else. And like Batman, she has no explored physical weaknesses, but although in this comic, she has just come off of, her traumatization, sorry, of being paralyzed temporarily, unlike her main Oracle counterpart. And overall, she is somewhat a bit naive. She can sometimes get into jams that she can either retreat or she can either stall and buy time to come up with a plan, because she is an expert strategist in her own right, of course. And as far as popularity in the New 52 goes, a lot of people like her, but some of her comic issues have mixed opinions, in my opinion. So, yeah, now then, who do I think would win? Well, it's kind of obvious. Now, as far as how this fight would play out, I would say that this match, the advantage to the victor goes around maybe 8 to 10, and this is a hypothetical of the one majority victor. And this match would play out like the death battle between Spider-Man versus Batman, where, of course, Batgirl would go in, and as soon as she would see Spider-Gwen, she would go on the attack, and Spider-Gwen would be able to hang on, and she would be able to fight back. Now, both of these two would go back and forth, and of course, Batgirl would use some of her gadgets, and she would try and off-balance Spider-Gwen, and when that doesn't work, she can just fall back on her expert strategy by using the shadows to her advantage, but that wouldn't work, so then Spider-Gwen would go back on the offensive, and for a while it would look like these two are dead evenly matched, like really hard to call, and there is a point where they stop, and then Batgirl needs to get something in. So she throws a flashbang at Spider-Gwen, but of course Spider-Gwen sees through her trap, and then of course she's able to back Batgirl back into the corner, and Batgirl, having no idea how to take on Spider-Gwen, would get into trouble very fast, and all she could do is just buy time and delay the inevitable. And then it would end where Spider-Gwen would pretty much web her up, and then, of course, she would go for the finishing blow. And with all that said, Spider-Gwen is the winner. Now then, apologies if I did not go too in-depth to this, because this kind of would play out like the death battle between Batman and Spider-Man, but these are just my opinions. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. Do you agree with this outcome, or do you think Batgirl would be able to somehow buy time and use Spider-Gwen's own naivetism against her? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this first episode of my Versus series, then please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And until then, guys, this is Richard Kenobi saying, may the Force be with you. Later, guys.